Former President Donald Trump predicted his supporters will rally behind him stronger than ever following his conviction in a New York criminal court. He addressed reporters earlier today, where he also said that he wanted to testify during his trial. The jury deliberated for about 10 hours before delivering a guilty verdict. Let's take you now to Allentown, Pennsylvania, where CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is talking to voters about the impact the verdict is having. So, Nikole, Pennsylvania is a swing state. It went to Biden in 2020. What are you hearing?
Yeah, that's right. Well, unsurprisingly, a lot of the reaction we're hearing falls along party lines. Keep in mind, this area itself is kind of a swing region, the Lehigh Valley, where Allentown is located, which did go for Biden as well in terms of his win here in the state. But, there are a decent amount of Trump supporters here, many of whom we talked to, who said really this verdict won't change their opinion. We spoke with Democratic voters as well, some of whom believe the former president should have been convicted, but others who also say they're on the fence. Take a listen.
I'm disappointed. It's very saddening to see that our system is that broken and they charge a man for charges he shouldn't be charged for.
What I think about Donald Trump, I think if he was guilty, then he should pay for whatever he did. They should count him accountable. Whether he's Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter.
Honestly, in my honest opinion, a lot of people have their ways of getting things done. As you can see, if he could pay someone to keep hush about one thing, what else can he pay the next person to do as well?
So again, quite a mix of reaction there. But again, for the most part, those Republican voters that we talked to who may have backed the former president either in 2016 or 2020 were pretty much inclined to continue to support him in 2024. Again, many Democratic voters that we talked to felt that, as you heard in some of those sound bites, that the former president should be held accountable. But at the same time, in terms of their support for President Biden, some did tell us that they will continue to back him, but others say that they are still thinking about their vote as we head towards November.
Nikole, recent CBS News polling showed that most voters ahead of the decision believed he was guilty. So given that and the people you're talking to, do you get a sense that this verdict doesn't necessarily have a huge impact on the trajectory of the race?
Well, I think it's too early to tell, right? I mean, this is an historic verdict in the sense that we have never seen a U.S. president in history become a convicted felon. So I think it's going to take a little bit of time for the public and for voters to digest that and the implications of that. Certainly many voters that we talked to, their views were already baked in, and I think you can see that in some of our polling even before this verdict was rendered, that more Democrats overwhelmingly felt that the former president was guilty even before this jury issued its decision, whereas many Republican voters overwhelmingly thought that he was not guilty prior to this decision coming down. And again, in talking to voters on the other side of the verdict, again, we see that same type of split. But that being said, there are some voters we even talked to today, for instance, who said, they do kind of want to see how things play out. Obviously, we know the former president will be sentenced later this summer, potentially. So one voter I talked to in particular, a Republican voter, said that she was watching that. Again, Democratic voters, on the other hand, hope that this strengthens Biden's hand. But again, we'll kind of have to see how those numbers bear out.
In your experience covering elections and politics, do you get a sense that there's enough time between now and November that this might actually not be the #1 issue or top of mind come Election Day?
Well, I think at the end of the day, in terms of, the range of voters that we have talked to, even in our short time here in Allentown, and as I've talked to voters across the trail, I would say the issues still continue to dominate. And primarily that common thread in many instances is the economy, concern about inflation, rising prices, when it comes to basic grocery items, whether it's milk, bread, eggs, gas, those types of things really seem to be top of mind for a lot of voters that I've talked to over the last last several months, as well as, for instance, the situation at the border, which continues to be a concern, for younger voters. The issue of education and the issue of student loans continues to dominate for some voters. So at the end of the day, I think this will still continue to be an issues-oriented election, but I don't think we can understate or underestimate the potential that this historic verdict could have on voters' decisions come November.
Uncharted territory. Okay, Nikole Killion, thank you.